to do something fun. So I get a lot of questions all the time. I get a lot of questions coming in through like Messenger when people enter my Facebook group, they leave questions in one of those early questionnaires. People like email me questions, people chat me questions, people there's questions from every single place and area pretty much. So what I wanted to do today was just answer some of these questions that I get. Okay, I have a spreadsheet in front of me that I'm kind of scrolling through right now. And there's a few questions that kind of really pop up and kind of really, call it, kind of stand out because it comes up so often, right? So one of the things is like, how do I promote my campaign? How do I promote my project? How do I market my project? That is one thing that people really, really wonder about a lot of the time. So I want to talk a little bit about that today, how to market your game. So marketing all is about attention, right? Everything marketing is about attention. Just attention, attention, attention. How do you get attention to your project? When you think of big brands like Coke or big brands like Nike or big brands like Apple, right? They have either like Apple has a giant keynote event and everyone knows to tune in during that keynote event because they're dropping a new project or a new product, a new system, a new iOS, a new something or another, right? That's what Apple does. When Nike has a new product launch, what they do is they talk to a lot of influencers and they kind of get people excited through influencers. They kind of line people up and they drop a new product and everyone's like, oh, wow, all these influencers are using it. I need it too, right? So everyone has a different way of getting attention for the project, right? So coming to your crowdfunding campaign, your project, whatever your idea is, right? No matter if it's an enamel pin or if it's a game or it's a candle, whatever it is that you're going to crowdfund, marketing is all about attention and when and where and how and who you get attention from, right? So at the end of the day, marketing is all about attention, making sure that your product, whatever it is, has that attention and from the right people. Okay, those are the two core things that people typically get wrong for crowdfunding. And I want to help you get this right for crowdfunding. When we talk about attention, the who, right? When you talk about the who, what is your project? First of all, just think about what your project is. Think about who might like it, who might enjoy it, who might find that it solves all their problems, who might want to have it and show it off and talk about it and be super excited and super enthusiastic about it. Because that who is going to tell you so much else, like everything else about what you need to do. Okay. Once you have the who, you can have the where, right? You can see where you have to be talking to them. So let's use an example. Okay. I have this candle that's sitting in front of me right here. Right. It's a lavender scented candle. Tranquility is what it says. It's I got this for one of my stocking stuffers for Christmas this past year, and it smells great. I've been using it. It smells like lavender, so it's great. So the idea here is who would like lavender candles, and you have to really think about that, right? If your product is a lavender candle, who would like lavender candles? People who probably love to think about who want to have like serenity in their lives, right? People who might love doing things like yoga because it relaxes your body, it relaxes your mind. People who like journaling, maybe it's those people who like journaling because you have to really think about it. You have to calm down. You have to really think about gratitude, what you're doing and things that are happening, right? So maybe those are the people who like this candle that you want to bring to the market, okay? So once you have that in mind, all these like conjectures, hypotheses of who your audience is and who potentially would want this like candle that you want to bring to market, then it's about where these people hang out. So clearly people who like journaling or habit journalers, people who like yoga, people who want to have that mind-body piece, for example, they don't hang out in the same places that or people who loves guns and reloading and making their own bullets at home and cleaning guns and collecting guns, right? Doesn't seem like they're the same demographic, right? This is like super obvious, and it's like a really like polarized kind of example, but this is what you have to really be thinking about, right? Who is this person? Like these gun toting people might not be your candle loving people, right? And so from there, you really know, like, okay, if I'm a yoga person in my audience, a yoga person, like I can go and get to know them and be able to like get their input about my project potentially in places where they hang out. And where do these people hang out? These people hang out in, well, beyond the time of Corona, like in yoga places, yoga groups, Bikram yoga. These people are in groups that promote habit journaling. People like this are in groups that are like talk about how to be a better version of yourself. People like these are chatting in forums, learning about this, on looking at YouTube channels, reading books about being the better part of yourself, just from a candle and from thinking about who would like this candle, right? This is something that you could do with your stuff too, right? This is something you can absolutely do. And from there, right, we talked about the who for marketing and the attention. Now we're gonna have to talk about like the how, right? The how do you actually get this attention? How do you get attention from people, right? Because that's the original question that I'm going through here is how to market, how to promote. Okay, how to market, how to promote. And there's two ways to market and promote. Two ways. Everything like falls under these two big schools of how to just like go out and market and promote. And those two ways, once you found your audience, you found where they are, you found that who they follow, there's two ways. One, you pay for it. You pay for it. You pay for attention. Lots of people pay for attention. If you look at things like billboards on the side of the road, those things aren't free, right? Those things aren't free. They are paid for. It's a paid way to get attention. You like plaster, like Lyft. When I was living in San Francisco and I was driving up 101, there was a giant billboard for Lyft because Lyft was trying to compete with Uber. Okay. So that's how you pay for attention. People who are like, what kind of ride share should I use? And they see Lyft, they're like, okay, I'm going to use Lyft instead of Uber because Lyft is right there. They're paying for the attention, right? Lots of companies pay for attention. You're scrolling through Facebook, you're scrolling through Instagram, you get ads. That's paying for attention. That's paying for people to think about your product, recall your brand, think about, hey, maybe I want this thing, just by just paying for it, right? And there's various ways you can pay for attention. With crowdfunding in particular, paying for attention typically is through Facebook and Instagram, just because those platforms are geared towards brand awareness and getting people to know your product, see your product, and kind of internalize your product at the very top level. If it's something like Google, right? People have to know your product already to start searching for it, or else it doesn't show up, right? With Facebook, you can just push this stuff out, push your new candle out to anyone at all who potentially has that same psyche, demographic, whatever you want to target, right? So paid. You can pay for things like being included in newsletters of like yoga studios. Yoga studios probably have a ton of like scented candles and like doTERRA oils or whatever that they sell. Maybe you can be on their email list and you can talk about your candles to that audience. Oops, sorry. You can talk about your candle to that audience, right? You can pay for things like putting your product in front of people during like a big yoga retreat, right? Like there's so many ways to pay to be in front of people and to get that attention for your product, for your brand, for yourself, okay? Pay. That's just like the tip of the iceberg. The other thing is to earn that attention. You can earn the attention too, right? You can earn the attention in so many ways. One is organic marketing. I talk a lot about organic marketing because it's just the freest way you can market your stuff. And organic marketing really is about relationships. You go into these rooms, these chat rooms, these forums, these places where yoga lovers or like people who love candles in general, maybe there's a place where candle lovers hang out. And you go in there and you start forming relationships. You start talking to people. You start being like, hey, what candles do you like? Why do you like those candles? I love these candles, right? And you just talk about the products in general in that category, right? Talk about what they like, talk about what they don't like, ask what they're doing, ask what life is about for them. Because at the end of the day, these relationships that happen, they start asking you what you're doing too. They start asking you, what are you working on? Why are you so interested in candles? What kind of candles do you like? And then you can talk about your own candle, which is great, right? And for organic marketing, I heard this the other day and I wanted to say it. For organic marketing, someone was saying that whatever you can't do in real life, you shouldn't do online for organic marketing. So what that means is a lot of people think organic marketing is about going into a group, like for candle lovers, for example, right? If your product's a candle, and saying, hey, I'm selling a candle. I'm gonna kickstart a candle. Come and join my email list. Come and pre-order it. Like, you wouldn't do that when you're in real life. You wouldn't go to a yoga retreat and literally not know anyone, walk up to the front of the center of the stage and just start talking about your candle. You wouldn't do that, right? You would talk to people, chit chat, get to know people, and then you talk about your project. And that's what organic marketing is, but make it online. Don't go in spam people, promote your stuff right away. It's make that relationship, right? Okay, so that's, again, very high level. Other things that you can do to earn mentions and attention is to kind of befriend people who own different lists. Okay, everyone in the world is kind of an influencer in a way, right? If you own a list of people who are interested in what you're doing, you're an influencer in a way. A lot of people out there who specialize in uh, well-being, in mind body connection, in yoga, and all these lifestyle stuff, a lot of these people have lists. And what you can do is if you befriend them and then you end up talking about what you're creating, what you're doing, and then they see that you have this cool candle, and then they want to talk about your candle to their followers. That's awesome. That's hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of eyes on your project just because you're friends with this person and they want to shout you out, right? That's earning. That's another way to earn mentions, right? Earn that that product mention, that product placement in a way, and get attention for your project through relationships, right? It's all about relationships. So 2 ways, right? We talked about earned, we talked about paid, right? There's 2 things, but yeah, there's under these umbrellas, there's a lot more things to try and to work on that is very much dedicated to your project, right? So the top level question here was how to market and how to promote, okay? And how to market and how to promote comes down to 2 things. It comes down to who you're doing this to, right? Who your person is. You got to know your person straight up. You got to know your person, right? And the other thing is that you have to know how to go about it, right? The actual tangible thing. And it comes down to either paying for that attention or either earning that attention. Okay. So very high level. And the cool thing is with crowdfunding, you do this all before you launch on crowdfunding. If you start doing this right when you launch and you're like, okay, now I'm going to go talk to people, that's not going to work. Crowdfunding, you have to build up this audience, all these people way beforehand. Okay. Let's see what other questions there are. How to get your community. Okay. How to get your community. Cool. Okay, this one's another interesting one, right? How to get your community. The best way to get your community is to keep doing all these activities that get attention for your project, right? People talk about community all the time. People talk about your audience all the time. But what is it? Okay. I like to think of a upside down pyramid, an upside down triangle, right? At the bottom is people who love your stuff. It's the smallest tip. People love your stuff. People want your stuff. At the top is people who don't know about your stuff yet, and you're just trying to grab them. Okay. It's like an inverted triangle. right? Like this, okay? To get your community, there's like a few steps that are tried and true for crowdfunding, and you do this at the pre-launch. Firstly, you bring people in any way you want, either paying for them or earning them through organic, any way you want. Bring them to your landing page, right? Your landing page communicates that what your product is, communicates when you're launching, communicates what they will get when they sign up to your list and when you will launch, right? Communicates those things so that you capture people who actually want your project and want to pay for your project, right? So again, people, bring them into your page, tell them what they want, capture their email, right? Capture their email, get their email of people who want your project already, get their email. And from there, put them into a group, right? Put them into a group where a Facebook group, for example, it's a community that you own, that you can talk to these people all the time because you already know this group is going to be people who have seen your stuff. They like it enough to come check your website, and they like it enough to like submit their email, right? So you know all this already. So people who come like end up at the bottom of that inverted upside down pyramid, that upside down triangle, you know that they know what you are, know what you're doing, know what your product is, know where you're going with this, know that like your crowdfunding campaign is coming, right? And so that is how you build a community. Like, it sounds simple, but that is how you build it. And the best way to go about it is to either continue paying for people to, come into your landing page, see what you're doing, or continue getting organic earned traffic for people to come to your page, your landing page, and see what you're doing. All right. And the more you do this, the larger your community goes. And this thing is an inverted, like it's an upside down triangle, because every step of the way you will lose people. And that's where people give up, right? You will lose people. You can send 100 people to your page. Maybe only 20 of them will be fans. You already lose 80% of people, right? 80 of the people you've sent over to your page. And that's when people give up, right? That people think, oh, I send people to my landing page and so many people don't like it and they give up. I mean, they don't like it. They don't sign up. And only a few people like sign up to my email list for my stuff. And they're like, oh no, my project sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. This is demoralizing. No one likes my stuff. But the cool thing is that it happens to everyone. So it's okay, right? This happens to everyone. Everybody loses people along this like upside down triangular path that you bring people to, because the people you lose are the people who probably won't convert anyway. They're probably people who you don't want to spend time trying to nurture, trying to talk to, trying to build relationships with anyway, because they probably won't buy in the long run. Those people who do convert, those people who do start going down your upside down funnel, start going down those steps in order to get into your like community, your Facebook group, in order to like commit to wanting to leave their email for your stuff. Those people are the ones that you should be caring about, right? Not the people who don't like it, but the people who do like it. Because at the end of the day, products don't appeal to everybody, right? We were talking about a freaking candle before. Lavender candles don't appeal to everybody. Lavender candles appeal to a very like specific part of people. Reloading guns don't appeal to everyone in the entire world. They only appeal to very specific people. Board games, tabletop games, worker placement games, they don't appeal to everyone. They only appeal to very specific type of people, just very, very specific niche of people. So that's who you have to care about. So that's how to get your community, right? Take people through that funnel, right? That upside down pyramid. Take people through that and start building that bottom rung of your upside down pyramid until it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that is how you build a community. Literally, that is how you do it. Okay? There's no shortcuts, no like easy way out. That's just what you got to do. Okay. Another question. One person asked me this on January 13th. On January 13th at 10:11 a.m. Does this actually work, or am I wasting my time? crowdfunding has been around for a long time, right? The idea of crowdfunding has been around for a long time. But does crowdfunding really work? Okay. Kickstarter and Indiegogo have raised billions of dollars on their site. Literal billions with a B. Literal billions of dollars. People who say this doesn't work either don't have the right types of projects that do well on crowdfunding, and there's very specific types of stuff that do well on crowdfunding, or they're people who don't want to do the work and want magic to happen. That's like straight up, right? Some people come to crowdfunding and they're like, okay, I have my page up. Where's all my people who will love my project because I love my project so much? It doesn't work that way. Crowdfunding doesn't work that way. Crowdfunding literally only works if you put in the time and effort and energy to build up your own community of people who will be excited about this thing too. You can't launch to crickets. If you launch to crickets, nothing happens. You don't get funding. Magic never happens. You can't get money if you don't do the hard work. No one ever no one ever became a millionaire, or no one ever launched a product without failing multiple times or without doing the hard work. A lot of people that you see that you probably follow or look at or watch do the hard work. They show up all the time and do the hard work. They do things like this, talk to a room full of like no-showers, right? Or they start a podcast and there's 0 people listening to them at the start. They start a landing page and they barely can get anyone to subscribe until they hit exactly what people want. And then they get lots of people to subscribe. They start a community at 0. Everyone started at 0. Okay. And if you don't put in the work, it won't work. Okay. So the question is here, like I'm reading it, does it really work or am I wasting my time? Yes, it works. Crowdfunding works. Kickstarter and Indiegogo people have raised billions of dollars on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. So if this is the mentality you're going into crowdfunding with, like, am I wasting my time? And you just don't commit to doing the work and going out and finding community, it's not going to work for you. Don't do it, right? If you are here with the mentality that crowdfunding can work and crowdfunding will work if you put in the time, then it will work for you. Sorry, this turned out into kind of like a rant, but these are kind of the questions I get. And I want to make sure that you have the right mentality going into crowdfunding and you have the right mindset and outlook going into crowdfunding too. So that's it for today. Lots more questions I'm going to be going through in the next few weeks too. So if you have questions, drop it into anywhere that I'm around, pretty much anywhere at all. And then I will answer them. Thanks for tuning in.